Hello everyone in Cyber World. Welcome back to another video. I'm Richard.
And I'm Jennifer, and this is our channel we call Poor Man's DIY.
This week, we're going to show you how we upgraded our dust collection system.
But before we do that, please hit the subscribe button below, leave a comment, and let's go ahead and take a look.
As many of you are probably already aware, you see us wearing a lot of protective gear whenever we're working in the wood shop. Jennifer's eyes are easily affected because she wears contacts, and just the slightest bit of sawdust really messes up her eyes. And the same thing for me, just the tiniest bit of sawdust without even thinking about it, and for hours I'm just coughing and can't figure out what it is, and it just dawned on us some time back that, yeah, the sawdust affects us both quite a bit. So in addition, we've done a lot of research, and we've made a video on it for safety, and we've shown that sawdust is classified as a carcinogen. So to be safe, we're doing as much as we can to minimize the sawdust. We work in our garage. We don't want to inconvenience our neighbors, so we keep the garage door closed, and therefore all the sawdust stays in this one area. We've built some filters, we've done a few other things, but it's still not quite enough, and I spend a lot of time with the sawdust cleaning up the whole workshop every single night after we're done using it. So what we're going to do is actually try to put in a better sawdust collection system. And so I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. But before we do that, as you can probably see, I'm running out of space and have no place to put up equipment. So we've come up with a little solution. It's not something I built on my own. We purchased, but it's going to be giving me a little bit more storage space and hopefully open up this area here where I can put in a dust collection system. So let's take a look at how I'm going to do this.
We're out of space to place items on the wall. Now we're going to use space on the ceiling with ceiling mounts. So we already have a dust collector in the garage, and I've mounted it to the wall. I've made some space, and I'll show you exactly how we did this. But anyhow, now what we're going to do is we want to include a cyclone to our dust collector, and we're going to do it the poor man way. Instead of spending a lot of money and buying one, we're going to make it with this beast. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what a cyclone collector is, we're going to install these vents inside, and they're both going to be going facing the same direction. The wind will come in and it will circle as it sucks in the dust.
Now what this does is the dust will then go in a circle, and as it makes contact with the bucket, friction itself will make the lower pieces slow down and they will fall automatically to the bottom of the bucket. The rest of it will come out the opposite end and go into the dust collector and be collected in the dust bag itself. So what this should do is the vast majority of the dust should go in here, and very little, only fine dust will go into the bag, and hopefully the bag does a good job and it doesn't spread it throughout the garage, so we will be protecting our lugs even better. So now we're going to go ahead and figure out how to attach these on here. A ready-made 4-inch Cyclone dust separator can cost as much as $180. Instead, I bought a kit for only $20. This bucket seems to be made for this particular kit, as it has circles already in there that you could use to cut out. Unfortunately, the circles on the lid are a little bit larger than the template, so I decided to use the template instead.
Now it's just a matter of cutting out the holes and assembling the kit. Once the kit was assembled, we wanted to make it airtight as possible, so we sealed it with silicone.
I cut down some hose to connect the dust collector to the new Cyclone. And then I installed new hose that will go from the Cyclone to our various tools.
We're going to perform a test, but before we do that, we're going to show you that the bucket is empty and so is the bag.
Just a side note, recently I purchased something different. Every time I use protective gear, I have to put on a mask and goggles, and I seem to heat up in this really tight area in the garage all year round, and my goggles fog up, and it's a pain to take them and the mask off and adjust and everything else. So we decided to go with something a little bit more efficient, old school gas mask kind of thing, like the military. And they're real quick, real easy to use. It doesn't fog, so this has come in handy. Even though it looks a little extreme, it works well for me.
And now for the test.
I planed numerous boards, and yet the bag is still empty. And the bucket is full.
I'd call that a successful test.
So there you have it, a very simple and inexpensive way to create your own cyclone for your dust collector. Don't get me wrong, I understand by adding this cyclone, it's not going to add additional power and create a better dust collection system. However, by using these clamps, we've clamped on, and the elbow that we've purchased, it's a much more secure connection, and I have found that because of this, I get much better suction. I've sealed off the cyclone bucket, if you call it, and to make sure that there's no air coming in as well and losing suction. And what I have found, that I've used this on the planer several times now, and even though it's not supposed to be more powerful, it has become much more effective. In the past, this would clog up quite quickly, and when it's clogged, the dust has no place to go, and it tends to spew from the planer all over the garage floor, and it just made for a lot more cleaning. Since hooking this up and all the dust goes into the Cyclone dust collector, the chips and everything are there, I found that when I was finished with a whole bunch of planing, there was virtually no dust or chips around the planer itself. So cleanup was much easier. So at the very least, that has helped out a lot. I know also that some people usually comment on these types of things that this is not going to help on the air quality. I get it. It is a little bit of better improvement. The air quality is all going to depend on how much the fine dust gets out and through this bag. But we also have the fans that we put filters on. Those two aren't perfect, but we got a couple of those running all the time. And between the two, it is so much better than having nothing at all and just having a garage full of sawdust and breathing it the entire time we're working on the project.
Much better.
So we're not actually entirely done with this build. I'm also making a few gadgets such as this. They're just going to be quick connections, and I'll add one to each one of our power tools so that it'll be a real fast hook up and then connect to this. I have no intentions of adding pipes all over and having tools all over the workshop because our workshop is very small. So whenever we need a specific tool, we'll bring it out and have this already attached to it and ready to go. So this was something that really helped us out a lot, and we do believe it's going to help with the air quality and protect our eyes and lungs considerably.
Next week's video, we had a bunch of scrap wood that we played around with and had a bunch of fun with. So until then, bye-bye.